Hello, greetings. It is Diane Cox here, and I am back with another step with the Mythic Tarot deck, this lovely Mythic Tarot deck that I'm working through. All this lovely myth mixed in with the tarot, which is just delightful. And the last card we did was the Lovers. And so that means the next card, the seventh card, is the Chariot. So have a look at this card. Here we have the God of War, Aries, also known as Mars. It's great to understand astrologically when you hear this myth. So here's Aries. It's actually quite a big myth, so we'll be touching on the lines that the book follows. Because with the myths, they're always going on about who's related to who's the brothers. Oh, they've got 6 or 8 brothers, and one was, there's a lot of siblings and aunts and uncles and all kinds of strange rivalry going on, as always in these godly and goddessly behaviours. So here we have Aries, the Chariot. Okay, so have a look at the symbolism. So we've got Aries, the God of War, on a chariot in a desert. Okay, hot desert, stormy sky, very fitting for a warrior, God of War. Now the desert signifies obviously a lack of water. So when you're thinking of the Chariot card, think of the desert and just look at the symbolism. When you put this card down, it's in a hot desert, red Mars, it's kind of red Earth, and there he is. And the idea with the lack of water being in the desert, water is creativity, it's feeling, it's emotion. Okay, so what the symbolism is here, that Aries, the warrior, is lacking in emotion and feeling and compassion and all that stuff that you normally associate water element with creativity. He is a warrior. He loves war. He has a thirst for war and battle. And it was said that the war cry of Aries would strike terror into anyone, even not only the enemy, but even his own friends and people that he was fighting with, that he would make this massive war cry. And therein, Aries would scare the bejeebers out of everybody. Okay, so he loves war, he loves a good fight, he likes to get in there, he is courageous, he's fearless, he's all the things that, Aries Mars kind of goes for, trailblazing, pioneering, just like for it. So, and sometimes can trample over everybody else to get what he wants. Mars can be very aggressive, violent, and yet, like I say, trailblazing and pioneering. So because of the fearlessness and the courage. So related to the element, obviously Mars is fire. So you've got the fire of the desert. I think that Sekhmet and Aries would get on really well together, don't you? All that fiery bloodlusting. So on his back, he's got the spear, often associated with the masculine drive, the phallus driving home. You can also get women who are very masculine and like a good bow and arrow and a good spear and a good kind of ride on the chariot. So it's the inner masculine, it doesn't have to mean a man, as we all well know. And he's driving here the classic 2 horses facing in different directions, as you can see. The dark horse and the white horse, the shadow self and the illuminated self. like we see in the High Priestess. You have the two columns behind the High Priestess. Do I have her card? I'm sure you don't need reminding. But you have the two columns of the High Priestess, and they represent, the two columns of extremes. The extremes of mercy and severity, and the middle path being the one that is obviously a balance, okay? So here in this card, we have Aries on his wild, mad chariot, dashing off to some glorious war, no doubt, some battlefield. And he has these two horses, and one is the dark, one is the drive within us, that instinctive drive, the aggression that we have, the anger that we have, the sense of injustice we have, the everything that kind of within us that kind of can make us kind of rage. Okay, now we'll say that this is the dark horse. So when you're looking at this card, it's like, okay, you've got the shadow self, the instinctive, impulsive, like I say, aggressive, pushing, kind of always not thinking about, kind of the consequences. And then you've got the white horse, the light horse, which is, like the enlightened side, which is, okay, again, it does have echoes of the Lovers, because it's like, okay, what is the consequences of following my aggressive drives? What is the consequences if I just go with my impulse and I just follow that thing about, I just want to do that? What's the consequences? The kind of light being side is going, okay, let me just think about this. Let me just kind of go with what will happen if I do this. So Aries is just kind of, you can just imagine the roar of that chariot and his scream that terrifies everybody. And it's like, okay, so this card represents power. It represents that natural force that just kind of, erupts through us. And when I use the Rider-Waite, I would say this card for me represents, okay, who's in charge, what is in charge, where are these forces going, who's got the reins? Okay, do you feel like you've got the reins? Which way, do you feel like you're out of control? Are you being pulled in a direction that you don't want to go? Okay, so that's what I tend to think with the Rider-Waite. And this Mythic tarot deck, I really like it because it's like it's the pull between, like I say, the dark and the light side. And what this card actually wants us to think about is not only the consequences of how we act and the actions we choose to take, but it's also facing up to our own inner rage, our own inner aggression, our own stuff that we repress, we disown, we deny. And of course, if anger and rage go inwards, it can cause all kinds of malfunctions in not only the spiritual body, but the physical body and the auric bodies and everything going out. But how do you actually cope? How do you focus and kind of channel that kind of massive fiery energy healthily? It's one of the challenges of the Chariot card, okay? It's about conflict. How do you cope with conflict, okay? How do you cope with struggle? How do you face aggression, outward aggression and inward aggression? How do you actually channel your own inner aggression? And this card asks us to face up to it. Either face up to a challenge that is coming literally, and we go, okay, I've got to bring out my inner Aries here. I've got to bring out my god of war. I've got to kind of go, okay, just face it and just go, no, actually, I'm not going to do that. And I don't agree with that. And I'm not doing that either. And, really sticking up for yourself in a healthy, driven, focused, challenge way. Because, it doesn't have to be all aggressive and shouting and rowing and everything. Sometimes just asserting yourself and going, no, that's not going to work for me, and I won't be doing that. And end of. You don't have to kind of explain yourself. One of the greatest things I ever learned was, just saying no. You don't have to qualify your no. And that classic thing that no is a full sentence. It's that. And sometimes people, they have to qualify their anger or qualify why they don't want to do that, or whatever they did or what's brought this conflict on. So Aries here is like, bring out your warrior, but bring it out in a light being kind of way. The shadow's coming forward and it's going rah, rah, inner Aries, and the light being is going, yeah, okay, we get it, we know you're a bit pissed off here, but okay, let's kind of deal this in a way that might actually bring resolution, as opposed to more conflict. Okay, and you can see that all over. Everyone in the world kind of gets it. So, just a little bit of background on Aries. A bit of it's funny how you read. People have a little bit of a different thing. So basically, Aries was born. Some people say was born from Hera and Zeus. In some sources, it says that Aries was born without male seed. Interesting, huh? That Hera touched a flower and she got with Aries. She got with child. Some people just say Zeus and Hera, and here is Aries. Aries was, like I say, a warrior. Imagine like any kind of battle film that you've ever seen. He was worshipped a lot in Sparta. He hasn't got many temples worshipping, war and bloodlust. But he did have, as you can imagine, temples in Sparta where they really valued the Spartan, courage and fearlessness. So he had two sons and a daughter eventually. So his sons, one was called Deimos, which means fear, and one was called Phobos, which means terror. Interesting names for your kids, isn't it? Fear and terror. Okay, well, there you go. Eventually, well, actually, I'll tell you that later. So basically, he had a little bit of a fancy. Well, actually, let's get it the right way around. He was pursued by Aphrodite. Aphrodite was married to the disfigured Hephaestus, the god of fire, and they always think of anvils. He was like the kind of craftsman to the gods and stuff. So Hephaestus was married to Aphrodite, but Aphrodite, seeing this warrior, this fearless man smelling of testosterone and sweat and full of that kind of manliness that many women find very attractive, she kind of made a little play for him. She made it clear that she was quite interested. And Aries, being Aries, Mars in astrology is known for the sexual drive, and Aries liked a bit of it, liked getting it on. So he didn't say no to Aphrodite, and basically what happened was someone tipped Hephaestus off. He made a very, very fine net that you couldn't see, put it over the lovely love bed that they used to get it on with, and basically when they got together at one time, Hephaestus dropped the net. And there they were. The lovers were caught in this net, and Hephaestus invited all the gods to come and partake of their nakedness while they were entwined. Now that would put most people off, and they'd be very ashamed, and they'd go crawling off. Not Aphrodite, and not Aries. Aries decided it was worth pursuing Aphrodite even more, and so after the dust had settled, Aries went after Aphrodite again, had some more wild thing on the love couch, and they ended up having a daughter called Harmonia, who was basically the the goddess. Was she actually a goddess? Not sure. Of love and strife, which makes sense, doesn't it? So he was a bit of a one. He was a bit of a saucy lad. He liked some action, as did Aphrodite. and they have that lovely kind of, that lovely kind of, overcoming. So this is what it's about, overcoming that embarrassment, that conflict, that shame, and just going, okay, well, that's what happened, and now let's move on. Let's take this chariot in a direction that I want it to go. Let's overcome that. And this is what this card is about. It's overcoming conflict. It's overcoming strife. It's overcoming things that don't go your way. It's overcoming difficulties and challenges and defeat. That's one thing about this card, is overcoming defeat. If you're feeling defeated and you're feeling like, things just are insurmountable, you have to bring out that which will bounce back. You have to, if your fire is just like the embers are about to go out, you have to put some more wood on that fire, and you have to bring that energy in, and you have to kind of bounce back and use everything that you can in order to bring that to you. So when Aries, basically, when a chariot appears in a spread, obviously it always depends on what position it's in and what cards are around this card itself. But I would always say it's about, one thing I would say, it's about, so the Fool is on the journey. He's just come from the Lovers and learning all about, the strife of making the choice of having to choose out of these three goddesses who is the fairest, and then the consequences. This card is also on a similar vein, but also it's a element of we know about the spiritual kind of reasoning, and obviously when you're talking about aggression, rage, anger, we often spiritually explain it away, and we're good at going trying not to project it or rationalizing it spiritually. But this card for the Fool, it's about the rawness of spiritual reasoning is one thing, but taking action and talking and resoluting anger and aggression and conflict is the action. Sometimes you can't just spiritually explain it away. Or because sometimes it's like, I've always thought that when people say you've had a horrible crime committed and people go, oh, well, I forgive this person, I forgive the criminal, I forgive them, I always think it's a little bit of a cop-out, because probably what they want to do is stab them 100 times and, pour who knows what over them and just get revenge. I think that's a natural human trait that we're trying to, evolve up past. But I really do think it's kind of a trait to be angry, to be rageful, to want it. And then, people just go, oh no, it's okay, I forgive this person. And it's like, oh, do you really? And you know what they say? I know I say this a lot. You have to feel it to heal it. So if you've got things going on and it's difficult and you're finding it hard to bring the spiritual together with the real human emotions that we feel, that we always try and kind of put to dismiss. This chariot is like, okay, feel it, act on it, recognize it, accept it, acknowledge it. Okay? Acknowledge it. And then act on it in a kind of a decent way, not just thinking about it or making affirmations. Face the source. Be in charge. Be potent. Be powerful. This is what Aries is, potent and powerful. Act on it. Do your best to face up to conflict resolution. Do your best to just kind of go, okay, and and go for it. So there you go. That's a Chariot. Potent, powerful Aries, all this fire and courage and fearlessness. and go to the dark side and that's one thing I haven't said. Go to the dark side and let it consume you. Let revenge and violence and aggression consume you. Or go to the light being side, the white horse, and deal with it in a healthy, mature way, and see where it takes you. I feel all flustered after that, all that fiery God of War. Anyway, all very exciting. Hope you enjoyed that and it helps you understand to read that Chariot card. And thank you so much for watching. I will be back very soon with our next lovely exploration of the Mythic Tarot deck.